I think we're live, mesdames et messieurs. I think we are live. Live from Los Angeles, California. Mesdames et messieurs, come and join me. This is time for Ask Serge. So Ask Serge. Let me see if I can see you guys and see your comments on my Facebook page. I don't see myself live yet, but I guess there's a little lag. Serge is live now, a few seconds ago. And see myself.
Looks like we're live on both. We're live on both.
We are live on both, up and running. All right, yes, well, live stream is good. You're live. 0 people watching so far on YouTube. Well, I hope that's going to change. Okay, mesdames et messieurs. So it takes always a little bit of a minute for people to join before we get into questions. Let me see. I can't find myself on my Facebook. Oh, here I am. Okay, I see the live events. Bam. Photo Serge is live now. Okay. Live and 21 people is watching on Facebook. Bonjour, Facebook friends. Bonjour, bonjour. Happy to see you. Happy to see you. And I just want to see, where do you go to see the comments?
I've got the comments here if you want me to just start reading them to you.
Yeah.
So the first question is from Nigel. How do you edit portraits using only Lightroom, Serge?
Oh, bonjour, Nigel. That's a great question, actually. The way I edit portrait in Lightroom, just using Lightroom, is basically because you can't go the same workflow. You can't use my signature preset, which are made for landscape for portrait. You can only use. I did someone for portrait because you have to go lighter. If you start opening the shadows, bring down the highlights, it's gonna be rough. So what I do is I do a little bit of white balance, a little bit of contrast, but then to make the skin more smooth, I use the brush with minus clarity to make the skin more light, and then I use the brush with a bit of exposure to make the eye and some sharpening to make the eyes pop. Honestly, it's not as amazing as what you could do in Photoshop. It's really a workaround, but when you're in a hurry and you don't have Photoshop or you don't know how to use Photoshop, it's pretty cool.
Excellent. We've got Artyom. Hi, Serge. With best wishes from Russia. Please tell me, is it possible to buy your book about Paris with your autograph?
Yes. Send me an email. On support@photoserge.com. That's where I get all my emails. And support@photoserge.com, and we'll work it out. Absolutely.
Excellent. We've got Jay Marquell asking, can you use RAW in Lightroom?
Well, Lightroom was made to use RAW. Lightroom is a RAW developer. That's the entire purpose of Lightroom. It's like saying, can we use, mayonnaise in a hamburger? No, it's really made for that. It's the purpose of Lightroom. You see, when you shoot RAW, you have a very neutral file. Usually, it doesn't look like anything. You need because the camera didn't retouch it, so you need Lightroom to make it come to life. And so, yes, that's the whole purpose of Lightroom.
And so, can you talk a little bit about the difference between RAW files, JPEGs, PNGs?
Okay. Well, RAW files is the native format that you have in a camera. Meaning, when the camera takes a photo, all the pixel goes onto the sensor, and without being altered, they go into a file called RAW. That's why it's called RAW, because there's nothing else. It's just a pixel. JPEG is when the camera starts retouching your RAW files, so doing contrast, saturation, sharpening, and turns into a smaller files on the same device, which is the camera, and now it's called JPEG. So now you got 2 files. So most cameras have the option to keep the RAW and have the JPEG, or just have the JPEG and they destroy the RAW. If you want to take nice photos, I would advise you not to do that, because you're leaving the camera decide the contrast, saturation, sharpening, which is not good. It's not an artistic viewpoint. The way they do it is they have like database of like 40,000 different scenarios. Oh, it looks like a mountain with some white top and a green tree on the left. So then contrast should be so much, and it's kind of arbitrary. It's actually based on profile. Usually you make profiles on the camera, like I want my photo to be very vivid. I want my photo to be very black and white. I want my photo to be whatever. And based on that profile, it's going to retouch your RAW files in the camera, which is what happens when you take a photo with your iPhone. It's a RAW file that becomes a JPEG. PNG is a whole different animal. PNG is like a JPEG, but it has transparency. It's used for design, where let's say you want to put a ROM and you want everything to be transparent. So PNG can handle that. A JPEG will have white or black around or whatever color and won't be able to deal with transparency.
Excellent. Zabby wants to know what's the best way to get started to purchase Lightroom?
Oh, go to photosearch.com on my Guild list, and you have a link there to become a Creative Cloud member. It's $10 per month. You get Lightroom and Photoshop and all the latest version. Let me tell you a little story on that, because at first when the subscription model came out, I've seen people really getting upset. Oh, subscription! We hate subscription. We want to pay one time. But when they came out with the $10 Photoshop and Lightroom, it was like, oh my God. I mean, it's the price of 2 coffee. You get 2 awesome software. I used to buy Photoshop every 18 months, about $1,000 or $800 every update. And same thing, about $150 for Lightroom. So I used to spend about $1,000 every 2 years. That is $500 a year that I used to spend to have Lightroom in Photoshop. Now I'm spending $120. So it's, for me and most of the people, it's 5 times cheaper. And you get the best updates. So it's really cool. $10, it's called the photography plan. You find it on photosearch.com by gear. You click there and you can get it.
Wonderful. Krishna Karan says, I'm a beginner photographer. What are the courses that you want me to take to start on basics? And my final aim is to learn Lightroom editing.
Say that again?
Yes, this is from Krishna. I am a beginner to photography. What are the courses that you want me to take to start on basics? And my final aim is to learn Lightroom editing.
Well, I did a course called Lightroom Quick Start. That should get you up and running in Quick Start. It's a 1-hour course, and I made it so that, because I have a 5-hour course on Lightroom, but I thought it could be kind of overkill for some people who just want to retouch photos. So we have this course. Maybe you can put the link in the comments.
Yeah, I'll put the link in the comments.
The Lightroom Quick Start. Now, we have just a little issue. Apparently, it's not live on YouTube. Bad video settings. Please use the key for for.
Yeah, I'm noticing that too, Serge. It's we are live on YouTube, but it says the stream health is not good. The buffering is bad for some reason. I'm not sure why.
I don't know why. I didn't change anything. That's weird. Okay, well, we'll see. We will see what. Sometime that just solves itself, and sometime not, because I don't know how to solve that. So we might just do Facebook then. That's technology. We're using this sort of new technology with Mike, who's helped. By the way, everybody, let me show you. This is Mike.
Hello.
He works with me. He's monitoring the questions, and we're actually going to do a webinar together. My first webinar at 11 o'clock my time.
In about 45 minutes. Yeah, 11 o'clock Pacific, and 2 o'clock Eastern.
And it's the webinar is free. It's a 1-hour presentation. It's a story of my life and all the things that worked for me as a photographer, and I want to share all my secrets. That's really the idea of this webinar, and how to get them, because check it out. You will put the link, right?
Yeah, I'm actually putting the link. So everybody knows, I'm going to put the link in the post right now. So right now at the top it says, I'm going live in 10 minutes, ask me anything.
Right.
I'm adding the link right now to that.
I'm actually putting the link, so everybody knows. Okay, cool, perfect.
And they should be able to have it now. I'm also going to put it in the comments section, and then I'm also going to add a link for Lightroom Quick Start as well.
Okay, that's good. All right, I'm just wondering, where do you go on my Facebook to see the event? I wanted to see people's comments, or.
Yep. So you just go to the live feed on Facebook. And you can see people's comments there. So Alan just asked, do you think Google NIK is better for reducing noise than Lightroom and Camera Raw dialogue?
I don't think so. I've tested both. Maybe it does a little bit better. I mean, I used to use it like Noiseless from MacFun and all these plugins, but now in my workflow, I always try to shoot the lowest ISO possible, so I rarely have the problem. And when I do, I usually deal with it in Lightroom. I never open a plugin like Nick or MacFun for that. So I'm not an expert of, I did, once I went to New York and I rented a chopper at sunset, and I was shooting at 8,000 ISO with my Sony A7S. Got great photos. It came into my New York book. And that was the only time I used noiseless from MacFun, I think. I did not use the one from Nik Software, but similar technology. And it did great job, better than Lightroom. But that was an extreme case.
Excellent, thank you. Milan says, when I edit a photo in LR 6.7 for a long time, the system is working slowly. Oops. It is freezing. Maybe it's a problem with the size of 36 megapixel photos. My computer has enough power. How do I improve it?
Sorry, that was at Lightroom or Photoshop?
Lightroom.
Okay, so there's a few tricks to speed up Lightroom. One of them is to use smart previews. I don't know if you're using smart previews. It's longer to import, but then it's faster to retouch. Another one is to increase the cache. If you go to Lightroom, let me show you. I'm going to pull up Lightroom, and I'm going to pull up Lightroom. Give me 1 second. Oh, I have to sign in, of course. That's when you're alive, and it's great. What could go wrong? There's so many things.
Yeah, live video is certainly a challenge, and especially when you're rebroadcasting to multiple platforms. So
Yeah.
we are still working through our technology, but I have a feeling we're going to get better each week, because we will be doing this each week. Every Thursday, we're going to be meeting here on Facebook and YouTube live, and we'll be meeting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 10 a.m. Pacific.
That's weird. Something is happening weird on my for the photo. Okay, here I am. Just 1 second. I'm going to share my screen and show you a little cool trick. So yeah, smart previews is one way to speed up Lightroom for sure. So let me shift. Let me put this on the right screen. Okay, so right monitor, you should see my Lightroom. Okay, if you go to Lightroom Preferences and you go to Performance, you see here it says Use Graphic Card. If you do have one, make sure that's on. That can really help. And then there's another one which is here, the cache size. Per default, I think it's 1 gig. I put 10 gigs, and it does speed up. But the biggest thing is smart previews, and the biggest thing is to really have a badass computer. I'm sorry, but Lightroom is not the fastest software. Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. What brand of camera are you using now?
Sony A7R. I'm using the. I've got 2 cameras here. This is my. Here is Jim and here is Joe. So that's Sony A7R II with. I'm testing these lamps right now, 40mm 2.8 from Canon Samyang. And that's my Sony A7S with the 24-240, some of my go-to lamps these days. I also have the 16-35 that I love, but I broke. And so I'm getting the G Master one, which is crazy expensive. Anyway. But anyways, so yeah, that's what I'm using.
Excellent. Linda says, I always watch your tutorials, and when you crop off the bottom or sides, you're not cropping to specific sizes. How do you print them without using assigned aspect ratio? I would love to be able to do that, because when I print, I always have to cut off parts I want.
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, I work with Yellow Color, and for years, I mean, it's been, 5 or 6 years I work with them. Up to 4 months ago, they were like, give us a size, you are the artist, you decide what you want, and then we'll work. Sorry, we'll work it out. Now, 4 months ago, they gave me like a whole bunch of crop size, so now I have to crop to a certain size. So I usually always crop artistic first, and then when I go for a print, then I resize it for whatever they want. Like I use Bay Photo for example, and they have a lot of crop size. So I always take my artistic crop, put it in there, and just recrop it with their software. To see what it would match for that photo. I always crop photo and not for a frame. So I will change crop size and frame size for a photo, of course. Photo is the priority, the message I'm trying to communicate.
Wonderful. Charlie Simon just requested that we give her a shout out to Charlie Simon Photo in Maribela, Spain. Thank you for joining us today, Charlie. Happy to give you a shout out.
Charlie is a man, and hello, Charlie. He's a good friend. Actually, Charlie is. By the way, Charlie, please contact me. I was trying to find your email. I need you for something. Charlie is somebody who lives in Marbella. He is a real estate photographer and apparently learned from my tutorials and has a very good business there now. And I was trying to get his testimonial, but I couldn't find his email again. So good that you're there. Please contact me, send me a personal message on Facebook or my Facebook page. And I wanted to ask you something, Charlie. So nice that you're there.
How awesome is that?
Yeah, that's so cool.
What do you think is the best way to get rid of color banding produced in some Nikon cameras where the low pass filter was removed?
I have no idea. I really have no idea. I don't use Canon, and I'm not really aware of the problem, so I'm sorry I can't answer that question.
No worries. Fantastic. So I've got some questions about when are you doing any workshops in LA or Paris?
So I have not decided about Paris yet because I've got a big wedding coming up. My stepson is getting married, and so I'm going to go there, and it's a big deal. We have all family, so I don't know if I'm going to do my Paris spring. I'll definitely do photo walks for sure, but I'm thinking on doing something in LA, like 4 days, the best locations in LA. It's not going to be as expensive as Paris because I'm not going to do the birthing, and because in Paris it's like a 4-star hotel, 4-star restaurant. It's like it's $6,500. So I'm going to do something much cheaper in LA where people can join me. It's going to be limited to 20 people, and that's coming up pretty soon.
Fantastic. It's exciting. Wonderful.
So we got a few more minutes. Well, yeah, we got 5 more minutes.
5 more minutes. Mustafa says, "Hi Serge, I don't know if you remember me. I'll be waiting for you in Dubai when you come to visit. Would love to shoot."
Yes, I remember you, Mustafa. Hello, bonjour, Mustafa.
Let's see what else we got. What are the best settings to convert to once I've edited the pictures? I'm not sure what that means.
Say that again.
It just says, this is from Abbas, and it says, what are the best settings to convert to once I have edited the pictures?
Oh, he means maybe on export, how to export them once you have it retouched.
Maybe.
I use Lightroom. So people ask me this question, how do you get your best photo up on Lightroom and on your website? I always, let me show you actually, because I have Lightroom open. I can just show you right now. Let me take a photo. Okay, this is perfect. So let's say I want to put this photo, you should see it up on the web. I'm going to right click, export, and in that window, I decide, I have a preset called Export JPEG. And if you look by default, so Export JPEG is what I use for all social media. So by default, the long edge is 1920 pixel, meaning it's going to be max 1920 pixel. Quality is only 60, and color space is RGB, and that's it. And because they're going to recompress it afterwards, I'm usually happy with that. It's good enough for me, so that's what I do. If I want to send to a printer, then I put the quality at 100 if I want to print it, and then of course I don't resize it. So web, resize, quality 60, non-web, no resize, quality 100. Voila, that's all.
Voila, it's beautiful.
It's the limitation of my workflow on exporting.
Got it. Let's see, we got time for probably 1 or 2 more questions. Edmund asks, some of your Lightroom tutorials in iOS app is not supported in the new iOS 11. Is there a chance that you could update the apps for... Yeah,
finish. Yeah, I heard about that. I heard about the issue. I'm actually working on a complete new app, which is going to be an app to rule them all with everything, because I got many apps on the App Store, so I'm cleaning up that. But that's coming in a few months because it's a huge app. It's an app that I'm doing where you have a lot of free tutorials, some paid tutorials, but it's also a way to boost your Instagram. So there's daily challenges where you can get feedback. The way the app is going to work is I'm going to give you challenges, and then let's say for example, I'll say take a great golden hour photo with rule of third. So you do that, but then you have to get the community to approve your challenge, and then you get points. And when you get points, there is so you can see your there is a daily contest, and so people can see. Hopefully, there'll be thousands of users, and they can follow you on Instagram. So the whole purpose of the app is learn and boost your Instagram account. That's all the purpose of that app is.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Lindsay Pimon says, "Hi Serge, looking good."
Ah, bonjour Lindsay.
um, Michael Schneider asks, and filters during the day for drone photography. I guess he's asking what filters do you use during the day for drone photography, or
So I use an ND filter I bought. I forgot which one I bought. I think it's on my gear page. Yeah, when you here's what happened is when you fly over with a drone during the day, there's so much light, and because the drone aperture is f2.8, so it's like an iPhone. It's very open. If you don't use a filter, you're gonna have shutter speeds like frame rate at like f200, 300, and that's gonna make very sort of video-ish, choppy looking video. It's not gonna be nice. If you put an ND filter on, you stop the light from coming to the drone, and you can get your frame rate down to 50, 60. It's gonna give a more cinematic look. So yes, I actually have it on by default. I always fly with a big ND filter. You'll find it on my gear page. It's like $20,
fantastic.
and it makes like a whole difference.
Excellent. Samir Sasi says, "Hi, I knew the normal settings to shoot the moon, but I want to know how to shoot the moon with clouds around it."
And that's rough because the only way to do that is HDR. The moon is being so bright, you have so underexposed so much your photo, such a fast shutter speed. So you have to, and I would go like -3, +3, and 0. Because I've tried it and that's the only way. Because usually what's going to happen is the cloud's going to be so black because you're at such a high shutter speed because the moon is so bright, you won't be able to see the clouds. So you need to take a very overexposed photo where the moon is going to be completely blown away, but then you will see some skies and blend both in Photoshop or HDR. Maybe that's going to work.
Excellent. John McKinnon wants to know, why does Lightroom keep importing my shots in black and white? Is there a setting I need to adjust?
Yes, it must be on your camera profile. You must be telling it that you want this. Now, John, let me ask you this. Are you importing JPEGs or RAW? Well, let's see if John can answer that question. Let's say if it's RAW, then you should be able to click reset. For some reason, you've got some kind of default preset making them black and white. Maybe in the import section, when you import photos, make sure you don't have any preset being applied.
He said RAW.
Okay, so you must have some kind of profile in your camera that's a black and white profile that somehow goes over to Lightroom and applies it. So I'm guessing when he clicks on reset, it becomes color again, right? Because a RAW is a non-destructive workflow.
Lovely. Pradeep Pradam says, "I love to learn from you, Serge. I'm from India. I'm a beginner. What are your plans for us in the coming days? Love you."
Well, I got a great webinar coming up in exactly half an hour at 11 o'clock, where it's my first time webinar. And if you follow me and if you like what I do, you will learn a lot of things about me, my life, all the things that have worked for me and it's really like the purpose of this webinar is to help you be a very successful photographer, whether it's you want to make money with photography or you just want to enjoy it. I have a lot of students which are like lawyers, doctors. They have tons of money. They just want to take the best photo possible. And I have a lot of people like Charlie Simon, for example, who is a young kid who wanted to become a successful photographer, who wanted to make a living out of it, and who I apparently helped, and I'm so happy I can have a successful, thriving business. So I mean, the one thing that makes my day more than anything is when I get an email saying like, I got one the other day. Somebody was like a policeman, but he hated his job, and now he's a full-time photographer, and he said it was thanks to my tutorials. And when I get something like that, that really makes my day because I really feel I make a difference. If I can make you guys become better artists and and even make money in the process, with your own photo, I am so happy because that's the, it's almost like a selfish feeling because there's so much, I mean, all my life I've been a salesman, I've been selling stuff, which is cool, but helping people become more artists is so much more gratifying than selling things. Because I feel I'm doing more for the community, I'm doing more for my fellow human beings, and I'm so blessed to have such an awesome job.
Well, you did something for John because he just said he pressed reset and it worked. So the problem is sorted. And then just so everybody knows, if you didn't see the link, so Serge is just talking about we're actually going to be doing a webinar in about 30 minutes, and he's going to be giving you some incredible background to his story and what he's done and what's got him to where he is today. And if you want to be a part of that webinar, if you want to sign up, if you scroll up to the actual post, it says, I'm going live in 10 minutes, ask me anything. Just below that, there's a link to sign up to the webinar. Now, you can't join the webinar unless you sign up via that registration, so make sure if you're going to join us in about 30 minutes, click that link, land on the page, and then sign up for that webinar. You'll be sent an email, and then it'll take you to a landing page where you'll be ready to go to join the webinar. So we're very excited for that. We're going to stop taking questions for now because we are, as you know, live can be very challenging, and it's important for us to get ready and prepare so that that webinar goes off without a hitch. But we will be coming back to you guys every week for Ask Serge events, every Thursday, and give or take one here and there when Serge is traveling. But we're going to be here every Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, and today we have an amazing webinar for you at 11 Pacific and 2 Eastern. Simply click the link above, photo-surge.com/webinar-registration. We look forward to seeing you there. That's all I got. What else, Serge?
All right. Well, thank you, mesdames et messieurs, to ask questions. I'll see you next Thursday for Ask Serge again. And if you can come to this webinar, I think you will like it. I think because I'm also I'm going to give something in the webinar that will be only for people who watch this. It's something I've never done, and it's going to be in half an hour. So, and it's, you know, you can join for free. So see you in half an hour.
Beautiful. Thank you, everyone.